Hello and welcome to the Quiver channel. I'm Jason, your host, and we're going to have a little talk about dementia. What happens, and this is for anybody who's dealing with dementia, any families or daughters, friends, lovers, anyone who is going to be dealing with someone who has dementia. Because nobody talks about the bad stuff. Nobody goes into details about how bad it's going to get. I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm not doing this to make you run away. I'm doing this for you so you are forearmed, so you know what to expect, so that when it happens, you are not shocked. When it happens, you can function. When it happens, you can remember this very important fact. It is not them. They are not doing it to piss you off. They are not doing it to upset you. They are not doing it to hurt you. They have no control over what they are doing. It is the dementia, not them. Please understand that right from the start. When it starts, it'll start pretty mild. They'll forget things, words, places, just small things, confusions, misplaced objects. It's usually about this time that you usually go for a test to find out. And it can be many different types of dementia, but this is the first thing. Make sure they get tested. It is very important. They won't want to run away. They will want to hide. Remember, dementia is in the same state at the moment as cancer was in the 90s. In the 90s, cancer was the C word. We didn't even say cancer, we just said the C word. Nobody talked about it. It was a taboo subject, and that did so much harm, and so many people died because of it. Now, thankfully, cancer isn't like that, but dementia, the big D, is like that now. Doctors don't want to talk to it because they can't cure it. People don't want to talk to it because it's a death sentence. They don't talk about the bad shit, so you're never prepared. So that's why I'm here. Because right now I am on the way to hospital. My mum was in the last days or hours of dementia. She could die today, she could die tomorrow, she could die in a couple of days. She is a husk. There's nothing left of who she is. We've said our goodbyes far before this. Her brain is 90% non-functional, and her body just hasn't realised it yet. So her body is still working, but her brain isn't. Now, like I said, to start with, it's going to be, I'm just taking a drink. To start with, it's going to be pretty basic stuff. Little bit annoying, little bit of confusion. They'll forget things, and then you'll get like a timeline erasure. If you think of it like a calendar or a diary of their entire life, pages right at the end will start to get erased. As the dementia kills off and damages the part of the brains with memory, or the part of brains where they can talk and everything, they will slowly, it seemingly, regress through their life. Now this is the easy part. You won't think it is, but it is. The hardest parts about this is they'll forget you. They'll forget their daughters. They'll forget their sons. Just put my drink away. And you'll have to remind them about things. And then you'll have to go through to decide whether or not to lie to them or tell them the truth. Do you want to explain to them that their wife died 5 years ago and watch them face it again every time as if it happened today? Do you want to deal with that? Any tragedies in the world, you may want to tell them about this, because it might reignite a few of their cells. It might help them to remember. On the other hand, you're going to give them pain. But then we'll start to get to the part that's the bad stuff. You may think that's the bad stuff, and you will. You'll get annoyed, you'll get irritated, you get bothered by it. But in the months and years to come, you'll wish it was back then. You'll wish you were at the point where they just annoyed you, where they did silly things, where they said embarrassing things, and that's where their inhibitions will be eroded completely. This will start with simply social faux pas, where they will talk like a child, basically. They'll say, oh, why is that person fat? Why don't they stop eating? They'll say that out loud in an actual shopping mall. You'll be at a cinema, and I remember my mum at a cinema, the last time we took her to the cinema, it was Avengers Assemble, the first Marvel Avengers movie, when they all came together, and the big fight in New York. Well, my mum actually climbed over our seat and ran up to the actual screen and was yelling and jumping about in time with the explosions on the screen, which was great fun for us and great fun for her, but a lot of the people got very annoyed. She will lose all her social etiquette. She will lose all that side of her. It will just go away, her or him. There'll be nothing you can do to stop it. Then will come the naughty stuff. And I'm sorry, it'll happen. Your father, your lover, your husband, your wife, your daughter, whoever's got the dementia, will masturbate whenever they feel like it. In fact, some days that's all they'll do. And you'll have to deal with that. Sorry, you'll just have to deal with it. They will flirt with your friends. They'll actually sexually harass your friends. Remember, they don't know any different. They've lost the etiquette, they've lost the ethics, they've lost them all. Those parts of the brains are gone, and therefore they are going off their baser instinct. And so they will be horny, and they will do bad stuff. And you will have to watch for that. The amount of daughters that have been traumatised looking after their fathers who had dementia, and their father tries it on with them because their father doesn't recognise them as a daughter anymore, doesn't realise that they're a daughter, and just sees them as a female and tries to, yep, that happens. This is what we don't talk about. This is what doesn't get talked about. But it needs to be talked about because it happens. They will get paranoid. Oh, so paranoid. They will be paranoid and they will not trust you. They will hate you. They will call the police. They will call the police and they will say that you're abusing them. They will say that you're attacking them. They'll say that you're trying to molest them. They'll say that you're trying to poison them. Their mind is going. Their mind is breaking apart. And they don't recognise you anymore. You're a stranger in their house. Why are you in their house? Why are they in this house? This house isn't theirs. They didn't live here in 1940s, 1950s. Why is this happening? It will break your heart. It will hurt you. But you've got to all remember, it's not them. It's the disease. It's not them. It's not the person who brought you up. It's not him. It's the disease that's doing it. And so, you will face horrors. And then will come the violence. Now, I'm going to warn you right now. That little old lady, who's 4'2", who looks as frail as anything, and is walking down a corridor in the dementia ward, keep your hands in your pocket. Keep your fucking hands in your pocket. I'm warning you now. Keep your hands in your pocket. Why? Because there's something called grabbers. Basically, a dementia person gets to the point where they want to grab onto something. They grab onto anything, they don't care. They will grab, grab. And they will grab with an unholy force that you will never have felt. Because, remember this, their inhibitions, their self-control is gone. When you and I punch someone, we don't punch with full force. Even if we hated someone the most in the world, we do not punch them with our full force because we know that we could damage ourselves. We don't hit as hard as we can. We don't pull as hard as we can. We don't grab as hard as we can because we limit ourselves, because we hold back. The human body is capable of immense acts of strength. We see it sometimes when a mother's child gets stuck underneath a car or something like that, and they will do an inhuman act of it and pull up the car and massive acts of strength. Well, your little old lady, your little old frail man still has tendons, still has muscles, and has no limits. They will grab on and they will dig there. Well, I once went, I'll tell you a story now. I went to visit my mum at the cancer they were doing an assessment of my mum. And I was walking down the corridor and I didn't know anything about dementia at this time. And I walked down this corridor. And on this corridor was this frail 4'2". She didn't even come up to my chest. She was just dithering about and walking along, muttering to herself. And my hand was hanging by my side, my hand out of my pocket, and I was just walking by. And as I walked past her, she grabbed hold of my arm and dug her fingers into my arm. And I fell to the floor in agony. It was like a grip I had never, ever felt in my life. It took 2 orderlies to get her to release. They basically had to dose her with diazepam to get her to release. It was not fun. It was scary to see that kind of strength. But, I'm just getting another drink, but that is what you will face. You have to be very careful. And another thing, my mum, who is the most gentle and nicest person in the world, I remember taking her to the hospital for a blood test. And we were walking down the corridor, me and a nurse from called Zoe, from the home that looked after my mum. And we're just walking down with my mum in between us, and we're just having a bit. She's just muttering in her own little language that you can't understand. And all of a sudden, it was instantaneously whip-like reflexes. She had grabbed hold of the nurse's head and slammed the nurse into the corridor wall. It took 2 security staff to pry my mum off this woman. It was just, there was no cause for it, no reason for it, there was nothing that had been done to trigger her. She just switched, and you'll have this. They will switch from happy joy to psychotic terror. There will be mood swings, and they will also hoard things like a magpie. Remember this. If things go missing in your house, look under their pillows. Look under their bed, look under their covers. You will find things just will be picked up. Remote controls, screwdrivers, knives. And you will have to deal with that. But you've got to always remember, this isn't them. They aren't doing it on purpose. They aren't doing any of this on purpose. This is their brain, all the things that held them back, all the things that made them your loving husband, your loving father, are going away, are being eaten by this, are being parts of the brains that contain all these things are being removed. And what the last things is the core, base, hind brain and that. And unfortunately, it's very animalistic. And they will do things that will annoy the fuck out of you. I mean, seriously annoy the fuck out of you. You will be so annoyed by them because you'll go upstairs, you'll make the bed and that, and they'll rearrange the room. By that I mean, this little old lady, like my mum, used to moved an entire 3-piece sofa and an entire bed, not just the mattress, but the entire heavy bed, pulled across the room, ripped wardrobe doors off, broke off tiles off walls, and then proceeded to try to chew on and eat the ceramic tiles. And also, let's talk about wandering. Oh my God, you are going to have to lock them in. At some point in time, you will have to take away their keys, you will have to lock the front door, you have to put the gate up, you have to make your house into a prison for their own safety, If you want to look after them at home, if you want to keep them safe, you've got to bar the doors, you've got to make it. They will be escape artists. Oh God, yes they will. Because they will go for a wander and they will get killed. Not on purpose, but they will wander into a road. They may cause an accident. And take their bloody keys off them. Oh my God, take their keys off them. Please take their keys off them. Don't let them drive. You're not being nice to them. You're not being kind to them. As soon as they start having dementia and that, you take their fucking keys off them. Because all it takes is one little issue, one little problem from one little lapse of judgment, why they're out there, why they don't remember where they are or what they're doing, and they will kill someone. And you will never forgive yourself. So please, take their keys off them. You've got to be cruel to be kind. When my mum got to the stage where we knew that she would start wandering, I had to keep the front door locked, keep the gate locked, put a padlock on the outside of the gate so she could still go into the bedroom, so that she still could have her time there in the bedroom and that, and the bathroom, and she could go outside into the backyard and all these things that she would want to do, but she couldn't go out onto the pavement because she would just wander in a direction. And believe me, when they wander fast. Think double or triple the speed of a normal human being, because once again they don't have a limit. They don't feel pain, they stop feeling pain and they stop feeling exhaustion. And their body just wants to wander, it just wants to walk, it just wants to keep going in a direction. For some reason, this urge to walk and everything seems to actually be prevailing. A lot of dementia homes have like a circular circuit of corridors so that their patients can walk around in a circle. But you've got to be prepared that if you've got someone at home like this and you let them out of the house, you may never see them again, because they will wander and they will go off on a journey in their head, and they could end up 30, 40 miles away, dying of hypothermia or exposure, and end up in a wood somewhere, and they won't know where they are, they won't know how to get back. You've got to put the limits on them, because they don't have the limits. I mean, that's the hardest thing about this. I'm just going to stop here and stop this and do the second part to it.